everybody, it's Michelle with Florida Keys Birding, and I have a question for you today. Have you ever wondered why the palm warbler is called the palm warbler when you're way more likely to see it hopping around in a weedy field or pine forest than an actual palm tree? Yeah, same here. So today we're diving into how this tail-bobbing little bird got its name. And spoiler alert, it's got more to do with where it was discovered than how it actually lives. So to figure out how this bird got its name, we're going to need to rewind back to the 18th century. Back in 1789, a naturalist named Johann Friedrich Gmelin, is that how you say it? I don't know. Officially described this species for science. Where was it spotted? It wasn't spotted first in Maine or Canada. It was actually first collected in the island of Hispaniola, modern-day Haiti, and the Dominican Republic. But you know what grows there in abundance, right? Palm trees. And boom, the warbler got its name, even though that Caribbean location was only its winter's home. I don't really think that Mr. Johann knew that, though. But here's the twist. Despite the tropical-sounding name, the palm warbler actually breeds way up north, in Canada, in boreal bogs and tamarack swamps. No palms up there, just moss and black spruce. In fact, of all the warblers, the palm warbler is one of the earliest to show up in spring, and one of the last to leave in fall. And even then, it prefers open spaces and scrubby edges over anything remotely tropical. So the name, it's like naming your buddy Beach because you met him at the surf shop, even though he lives in the mountains now. So let's talk about the western palm warbler versus the yellow palm warbler. These are actually two subspecies of the palm warbler. You might not have known it. The western palm warblers are browner and more muted and make up the bulk of the breeding population up north. But yellow palm warblers are, you guessed it, more yellow, especially on the underparts, and these guys tend to winter farther southeast, especially in Florida and the Caribbean. I actually have seen one, and somebody pointed it out one day, and I was like, oh wow, look at that, that's an eastern palm warbler. I didn't even know there was a subspecies. But no matter which one you see, they all do that signature tail bobbing motion that gives away their identity from a distance. That constant tail wag, it's a palm warbler classic. If you see a little warbler in the trees or on the ground and you don't know what it is and it's bobbing its tail, it's probably a palm warbler. If you live in the eastern half of the US, you've probably seen a palm warbler in fall or during spring migration, and you probably didn't find it in a palm tree, more likely in a weedy field or the edge of a trail, or even hopping along a parking lot median. In Florida, where they winter in huge numbers, they show up in parks, vacant lots, and roadside ditches more than they do in ornamental palms. So yes, they winter where palms grow, but they clearly didn't read their own name tag. The name palm warbler is just one of those historical leftovers, a reminder of how birds were named based on early encounters, often during wintering or migration before we understood their full circle of life. Same goes for birds like the Tennessee warbler, named in Tennessee but breeds in Canada, or like other birds like the Cape May warbler, first seen in Cape May, New Jersey, but rarely actually found there. It shows how naming often reflects when and where early naturalists happen to cross paths with a species, but it's just not necessarily their full story. So now you know. The palm warbler got its name because someone spotted it on tropical islands in the winter, even though it spends the rest of the year in the boggy pine country and foraging parking lots like a little feathered misfit. It may not hang out in palms, but it's still one of the most charming and easy to ID warblers out there, not to mention the friendliest. So the next time you see a warbler with a rusty cap, a yellow belly, and that constant tail bob, you'll know it's probably a palm warbler. And now you know. It's nothing to do with coconuts. Thanks for watching. If you like this bird fact dive, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more warbler weirdness and migration tales. Drop your favorite warbler name, origin in the comments because some of them are pretty wild.